Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This week, we're going to be talking about the third pillar in my Tranquil Home framework, routines and systems. The reason that routines and systems is so important is not because I'm expecting you to change your personality, start using spreadsheets, and become super type A, okay? It's actually the exact opposite. The reason is because they lighten your mental load. So what that means is that implementing simple routines and systems and habits into your everyday life, it's the exact opposite of what you would think. It actually takes things off your mental load and off your plate. So right now, I know for a fact, because this is how I used to live, many of you are going through your day without routines, without habits, without any type of system in place. I can almost guarantee that your mental load is super heavy. You probably feel like you have a million things going around in your head at one time. You have 1,000 tabs open and you're feeling this feeling that I had where you're like, I can't forget this, I can't forget that. And then you look in your house and you're like, I got to put that away. I got to fill that paperwork out. I got to do this. And you're just everywhere you look, you're reacting to visual stimuli like mess and clutter, but also the mental to-do list. All of us are busy. All of us have busy schedules and a lot of things on our mind. And I'm here to propose to you one super helpful way to lighten that load is by implementing simple routines, habits, and systems into your life. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I want to share with you is how habits and routines actually lighten your mental load, because you're probably saying, what are you talking about? It feels really overwhelming, even mentally and emotionally, to try and come up with a new habit or a new system or a new routine. I'm going to explain to you why that's not actually true. So I'm going to read to you a little bit out of one of my favorite books, Essentialism by Greg McKeown, just to help illustrate the point of how routines can actually lighten your mental load. So he says, there's another cognitive advantage to routine as well. Once the mental work shifts to the basal ganglia, this is the part of your brain that goes on autopilot with things you've done 1,000 times. So think about when you're driving home from school or work, how your brain just shuts off. You don't have to look at the street signs. You don't have to think about where you're going. You know, the ongoing joke is like, how did I even get home? You pull into your driveway and you're like, I don't even remember driving. That's the part of your brain that we're talking about here. And once that is activated, its mental space is freed up to concentrate on something new. So that's why you can listen to a podcast while you're driving, because you're not thinking about where you're going. This allows us to autopilot the execution of one essential activity while simultaneously actively engaging in another without sacrificing our level of focus or contribution. In fact, the brain starts working less and less. The brain can almost completely shut down. And this is a real advantage because it means you have all this mental activity you can devote to something else. So if there's any of you out there who are saying, I can't implement a new routine, it seems too complicated, it seems overwhelming, there are super simple ways to do this. Once you've done it a couple times, and you don't have to do it 1,000 times, once you've gotten used to it, it does become autopilot. And that's when the really big payoff happens. So it's totally worth it, even if it does feel like a stretch or uncomfortable or new to try a new routine. The payoff is 1,000 times what you put into it. It pays off infinitely. As many times as you do that routine, you're going to get the payoff. So that's point number one. It's going to lighten your mental load, which is amazing. And point number two that I want to make and emphasize is that routines make teamwork automatic. A lot of times, I talk about family teamwork. I talk about getting your kids more involved, getting the family to work as a team. And a lot of times it feels like there's pushback with moms in particular. It feels like too much work to implement systems or any type of structure where other people are responsible for different chores. Like, I don't want to ask other people for help because then there's going to be pushback, or it feels easier if I just do it. But I'm here to tell you that if you use simple routines, the process of outsourcing, let's say, using like a business word, outsourcing to your family becomes so much easier and more automatic when you take advantage of routines. So what I like to do is combine the concept of routines with love and logic parenting, which is like the parenting system that I use. You can Google it, look it up, where you're setting clear boundary statements. And what that usually looks like is you can do X when you've done Y. So how this works in our home is our kids, when they get home from school, there's a certain expectation of what they're expected to do. They're expected to hang up their backpack and their jackets, to unpack their lunch bags themselves, which means putting dirty dishes in the dishwasher, putting their lunch bag away, and throwing out any food that's gone bad. Then they're expected to hand us any paperwork from the school that we need to see or sign, and do any homework that they need to do. And that's all after school here's the routine before screen time. So a lot of us, I think we're in the bad habit as parents of giving our kids screen time immediately after school because everyone's tired and overwhelmed and it's like this default. Whereas if you just make a tiny tweak to your routine where you're combining a healthy, parenting boundary with a routine, yes, there may be pushback at the beginning, but the payoff is so huge because what ends up happening, those things happen automatically. I don't have to remind my kids, nag them, beg them, yell at them to do their homework, unpack their lunch bag, and do, actually, one thing I forgot is chore. They're also required to do their after school chore, which is usually something simple. You can make this small. If your kids are little or they tend to be tired after school, make it work for you, obviously. If your kids need a snack, give them a snack first. To me, those things are a given. Make it work for your family. But the point is, when you've done X is when you can do Y. That is the simplest boundary, the simplest routine. You can steal that, take it, use it, but it works because now I don't need to ask them. I don't need to remind them. I don't need to do anything mentally. There's no mental load required for me. That's how routines make teamwork automatic. Putting in these little simple structures into your day seems like, oh my gosh, how could I ever do that? But when you actually do it, your load is lighter. There's less on your shoulders. There's less mentally that you have to remember. And there's less tension. You're not nagging, reminding, yelling, getting frustrated or burnt out because you're doing everything all the time. So I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments. Do you use routines in your home? Do you not use routines? Do you want to use routines? If you have a good routine that you think would be helpful, please do share it. I'd love to hear them. And if you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe and stick around for more tidy home habits and tips. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.